Commission. I call this meeting of the Commission to order on August 21st, 2025 at 2 p.m. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Chair Scripps.
Present.
Commissioner Peritek.
Present.
Commissioner Myers.
Present.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Madam Secretary, today's meeting is being held in person at the Commission's office at 7109 West Saginaw Highway here in Lansing. We're also hosting this meeting remotely using Microsoft Teams. Telephone relay service is also available. If you're participating via Microsoft Teams, you may also turn on the live captions by clicking the button at the top right of your window, clicking on language and speech from the drop-down menu, and finally clicking on turn on live captions. As indicated in the notice for today's meeting, if we lose the remote connection, the Commission will not recess. The meeting will, however, be recorded and available for future reference on the Commission's website. In addition, the Commissioners can receive comments via lara-mpsc-commissioners@michigan.gov. That's LARA-MPSC-commissioners@michigan.gov. And for reference, this email is also included in the meeting notice. We will, of course, have an opportunity for the public to make comments as provided in the agenda. A few notes about this. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and one per person. If you would like to make verbal comments, you must do so in person or remotely through Microsoft Teams or by calling into the phone. For individuals attending in person please fill out a comment card. They are available on the front table near the podium. For those individuals participating remotely by Microsoft Teams and who want to make a verbal comment, you may click on the raise hand button at any time to be queued up for comment. For individuals participating remotely by phone and who want to make a verbal comment, may press *5 at any time to be queued up for comment. Note that public commenters on both Microsoft Teams and on the phone are added to the same speaker queue and will be called when they enter the speaker queue. So please do not lower your hand or press *5 again, or you'll be to your place in line. Finally, to minimize disruptions, attendees participating by Microsoft Teams or by phone will be muted until we reach the time for public comment. First order of business is approval of the agenda for today's meeting.
I move for the approval of the agenda for today's Commission meeting.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? Now have a vote on the motion to approve today's agenda. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The agenda is approved. The next item of business on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the August 7, 2025 Commission meeting.
I move for the approval of the minutes from the August 7, 2025 Commission meeting.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? Now have a vote on the motion to approve the minutes from the August 7, 2025 Commission meeting. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries by a unanimous vote. The Commission meeting minutes of August 7, 2025. Next item of business on the agenda is consideration of the Commission's bylaws. Under Article 3, Section 2A, the Commission must conduct an organizational meeting after the appointment of a new commissioner. And in light of Commissioner Myers' recent appointment, we are using today's meeting to function as an organizational meeting. The purpose of an organizational meeting is to either reaffirm the current bylaws or consider a motion to amend the bylaws. And if an amendment to the bylaws is proposed, the amendment must lay on the table until the next regular. Commissioner Peritek.
I move to amend the Commission's bylaws, which were adopted on February 6, 2020. The proposed amendment modifies Article 3, Section 6B regarding quorum, and Article 3, Section 7 regarding remote participation. A copy of the proposed amendment has been provided to the Executive Secretary for today's meeting.
I second the motion.
Pursuant to Article 4 of the bylaws, the proposed amendment must lay on the table until the next regular meeting, at which time the amendment must be voted. Just note that these are fairly simple changes to better align our bylaws with the state of play in terms of our ability to participate, or actually not to participate remotely in formal committee meetings and the development of a forum where if one of us were to be absent. But again, as noted, a copy of the proposed amendment has been provided to the Executive Secretary and will be available. Is there a motion to table this matter to the next regular meeting?
I move to table consideration of the proposed amendment to the bylaws until the next regular meeting.
I second the motion.
We will now have a vote on the motion to table consideration of the proposed amendment to the bylaws. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The motion to table consideration of the proposed amendment to the bylaws is approved. The motion to approve the proposed amendment will be considered at the next regular meeting. The organizational part of today's meeting is concluded. The next item of business on the agenda is the approval of the orders and minute actions on the consent agenda. And today the Commission is assisted by Staff Attorney Leah Arndt. I recognize Ms. Arndt.
Good afternoon. Today's consent agenda consists of 6 communications matters and 5 electric matters. The proposed orders and minute actions for these matters have been thoroughly vetted by the Commission's technical and legal staff and are ready for your approval.
Thank you, Ms. Arndt. I move for the approval of the orders and minute actions on the consent agenda.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? Now have a vote on the motion to approve the orders and minute actions on the consent agenda. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The orders and minute actions on the consent agenda are approved. Ms. Arndt.
Item 5A1 is case numbers U-20632 et al., which involve matters on the Commission's own motion related to issues concerning utility service natural gas curtailment procedures and multi-utility emergency events. The order before you accepts the natural gas curtailment procedures workgroup status report filed in case number U-20632 on July 30th, 2025, adopts the recommendations therein, and directs the Commission staff to form a collaborative group for purposes of case number U-21940, file a report of findings and recommendations on the topic of cooperability between natural gas and electric utilities during multi-utility emergency events in case number U-21940 no later than February 26, 2027, and file a subsequent status report to update the Commission on any further progress made by the natural gas curtailment workgroup in case number U-20632 no later than February 26, 2027.
Thank you, Ms. Arndt. I move for the approval of the order in case numbers U-20632 et al.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I would like to thank our staff who have been working diligently on the issue of gas-electric coordination for years, since the statewide energy assessment formalized the effort in 2019. The yearly status report that the order before us accepts shows the crucial importance of ensuring cooperation between the supply of electricity and natural gas, especially during an emergency. The full report is filed in docket number 20632 and can be found both on the MPSC's website and in the eDockets filing system. Our country's electric system is becoming increasingly dependent on natural gas for electric generation, which ties the two energy sources very closely together. This makes difficult decisions on prioritization that need to be made in the event of gas supply emergency more important than ever. And this docket and this collaborative are employing proactive planning so that we don't get stuck in a reactive position during emergencies. I'd like to thank all the organizations that are coming together in the collaborative directed in this order to work through these issues, and I look forward to seeing the results.
Commissioner Peretick, is there any additional discussion? We'll now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote, and the order in case numbers U-20632 et al. is approved. Recognize Ms. Arndt.
Item 5A2 is case number U-21049, which involves an application filed by Consumers Energy Company for reconciliation of power supply, cost recovery expenses and revenues for calendar year 2022. The order before you denies Cadillac Renewable Energy LLC's petition for rehearing.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21049.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We'll now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21049 is approved. Recognize Ms. Arndt.
Item 5A3 is case number U-21482, which involves a request for approval of interconnection procedures filed by DTE Electric Company pursuant to Michigan Administrative Code Rule 460.920. The order before you grants a joint motion to extend the deadline for issuing a final order in this case until December 3rd, 2025, and finds that any settlement agreement filed in the instant docket no later than November 6, 2025, will be considered by the Commission for potential approval.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21482.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We'll now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote, and the order in case number U-21482 is approved. Recognize Ms. Arndt.
Item 5A4 is case numbers U-21775 et al., which involve a matter on the Commission's own motion to open a docket for load serving entities in Michigan to file their capacity demonstrations as required by MCL 460.6W. The order before you accepts the Commission staff's May 12, 2025 capacity demonstration results report and the 2025 statewide energy storage target calculation filed by the Commission staff, closes the docket in case number U-21775, and opens the docket in case number U-21907 for the purpose of receiving capacity demonstrations for the 2029-2030 planning year, an annual update using the statewide energy storage target calculation.
I move for the approval of the order in case numbers U-21775 et al.
I second the motion.
And just before we vote on this one, a couple of notes. So the annual capacity demonstrations that are in front of us today demonstrate that all of Michigan's electric providers, including both the investor-owned utilities, alternative electric suppliers, cooperative electric utilities, municipal electric utilities, all of them have sufficient capacity to meet electricity customer needs 4 years out into the future. Our requirements look 4 years out into the future, which exceed the requirements set by the two RTOs of which Michigan is a part, including MISO, which covers most of the state, and PJM, which manages part of the southwest portion of Michigan. The RTOs operate more near-term capacity markets under the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission tariffs to ensure that essentially we have enough capacity for the year ahead or maybe a little further than that. In Michigan, our capacity demonstrations are coupled with our long-term integrated resource plans, or IRPs, through which our investor-owned utilities model future demand over a period of at least 20 years, with specific reporting of 5-year, 10-year, and 15-year projections, and then allowing the Commission to evaluate whether the proposed plan is ultimately the most reasonable and prudent means of meeting energy and capacity needs over those duration. And looking further out, both 4 years in the capacity demonstration process and then much further in the IRP process, gives our electricity providers more time to plan for when they may need to build or buy additional resources, improving the likelihood that we'll have enough capacity to meet customer needs even during periods of extreme temperatures. This approach helps keep the cost of electricity lower by reducing the risk of price spikes or the need to purchase more expensive electricity from wholesale energy markets when demand is high and supplies are tight. I would just contrast that approach that we've adopted since these requirements were put in place under the 2016 energy reforms with now the series of 90-day orders that we've received from the Department of Energy, most recently one yesterday to extend by 90 days at a time the continued operation of the Campbell coal plant. These orders will add millions of dollars more to customer utility bills across the region while adding layers of uncertainty to longstanding planning processes, ultimately making it harder, not easier, to keep the lights on in the long term. So together with the utilities and grid operators, I know that the Commission remains committed to ensuring that we have the electricity that we need to meet growing demand in the future years and indeed have the statutory and regulatory framework to make sure that that's possible. Is there any additional discussion?
As well said, Chair Scripps.
We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case numbers U-21775 et al. Is approved. I recognize Ms. Arndt.
Item 5A5 is case numbers U-21867 et al., which involve matters on the Commission's own motion to commence a proceeding pursuant to Section 6T1 of Public Act 231 of 2023. The order before you commences the proceeding, provides notice of 2 public hearings, and provides an opportunity to file comments regarding the draft Michigan Integrated Resource Planning parameters, the draft Integrated Resource Plan filing requirements, the Clean Energy Plan filing requirements for rate-regulated electric utilities, the Clean Energy Plan filing requirements for municipally owned utilities, and the Clean Energy Plan filing requirements for cooperatives and alternative electric suppliers.
I move for the approval of the order in case numbers U-21867 et al.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We'll now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case numbers U-21867 et al. Is approved. We've now reached the time reserved for members of the public to address the Commission. As mentioned in the notice for today's meeting, we will take public comments in the following order. First from individuals attending in person, and then from individuals participating remotely, either through Microsoft Teams or the phone, who have entered the speaker queue. As a reminder, this public comment period is for commissioners to listen to comments and concerns and not to answer specific questions. When providing comment, please indicate your name and where you live if you're willing to share so that we have that for our records. And again, please limit comments to one per person and keep them brief, no longer than 3 minutes, so we have a chance to hear from all who would like to comment. We've got one comment card in front of us today, and so I'd welcome Val Walscheid-Brennan.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Val Wilscheid-Brennan. I'm here today regarding case U21471 and the resulting case U21930. I'd like to first start by welcoming Commissioner Myers and wishing Commissioner Carrie Ann well in her new role if she's watching. I'd also like to recognize the efforts of the commission, that the commission and staff put into this case. The last 2 years have been a hell of a journey for my family and our neighbors, many of which are still grappling with the outcome of this case. ITC METSI's handling of these transmission projects has from the beginning been unjust and unethical. I expected so much better from METSI in so many ways. I am grateful that the commission not only acknowledged METSI's blatant disregard for landowners in their lifelong investments, but took action to hold METSI accountable and set a better path forward for future Public Act 30 cases. The new case U21930 is time sensitive to update Michigan's PA 30 statute before METSI submits applications for tranche 2.1 projects in which they've already started public engagement. It is critical to get the statute fleshed out before more Michiganders like us pay a heavy, heavy toll. I look forward to seeing these improved PA 30 guidelines and how they will benefit future filings, landowners, and ratepayers. Thank you for your time today.
Ms. Walscheid-Brennan. I believe we have one hand on the virtual options, and so I would recognize Valerie Brader.
Thank you for the opportunity to make this comment. I note that I am not appearing on behalf of any client today, and my remarks should not be attributed to any person other than myself. As you are aware, I'm a consultant and attorney with a particular specialty in helping clients meet sustainability goals. Since drafts of the recently approved federal legislation began to be publicly available, and in particular since the law was changed, I have found an increasing portion of my work is to assist various clients with accelerating the timelines for renewable energy projects in an attempt to secure financial benefits that may not be available or will be significantly more difficult to secure after the end of this year and certainly in July of next year. I recognize that as a creature of statute, the Commission has strict requirements regarding what evidence can be taken into account in its decisions and also the timeframes in which decisions can be made. However, I do want you to be aware that I would expect information regarding expected timelines of late-stage renewable projects that predate March of this year are likely to be wrong. And I think it is especially likely that timeframes for various activities have been pulled forward to ensure prior cost estimates remain valid. Thus, to the extent that you have a reasonable and prudent project before you, but some question about what year in which the expense for that project is likely to be incurred, I encourage you whenever possible to seek additional information to see if those approvals could be issued as soon as possible. In my experience in the marketplace, many projects are now on an accelerated timeframe, and the industry is acutely aware of the special benefit of speed at this moment. In your aims to, at all times, keep costs lower for ratepayers, I think action in this area could be tremendously valuable. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Brader. Are there any other Vals who would like to address the this time? Or anybody else by any other name? Okay, we will now close the public comment period of the meeting. Please note that the public may continue to submit comments to the commissioners via email at lara-mpsc-commissioners@michigan.gov. And again, that email is also available through the meeting notice for today's meeting. Just a couple of comments or announcements before we close out today. First, I want to recognize 3 individuals that have moved into management roles over the last month at the commission. First, Andrea Taylor joined the commission on July 21st as the new manager of our communications section. Andrea, or Andy as she's sometimes known, brings nearly 2 decades of senior level communications expertise in both the public and private sectors to this role, most recently serving as Chief Communications Officer for the Cultural Heritage Economic Alliance. She's also worked at IBM, Ascendant Global, and General Motors on the private sector side, and with Congresswoman Haley Stevens, Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson, and Congresswoman Juanita Melender-McDonald in public service roles. And we're thrilled to have Andrea join us and have her on board. So welcome. In addition, I'm also happy to announce that Nick Revere was recently promoted as the new division director for the Commission's Energy Operations Division, starting in this new role last month. Nick takes over from Julie Baldwin, who retired after a long career in public service at the end of June. I know many people who regularly interact with the Commission already know Nick from his previous role as manager of the Rates and Tariff section in the Regulated Energy Division, a position he's held, I guess, since September 2014. Nick first joined the Commission as an economic analyst in July 2008 and has been active in a broad range of Commission work groups, technical conferences, initiatives, and other activities, and in 2010 was recognized with the MPSC's Outstanding Service Award. And I'm confident Nick will excel in this position just as he has in every other role that he's had at the Commission. I want to publicly congratulate him on his promotion. And finally, this week, we're excited to welcome back Kyle Frisk as the manager of the Gas Safety section in the Gas Safety and Operations Division. Kyle spent 10 years with the Commission as a pipeline integrity management specialist before taking his talents to the federal government, where he spent the last 3 years as a pipeline safety engineer with the U.S. Department of Transportation's Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration. While at PHMSA, Kyle specialized in integrity management programs and was a member of the Gas Rule Implementation Team, or GRIT. And he brings this same grit back to the Commission, and we couldn't be more excited to welcome him home to the Commission and have him rejoin us in a managerial role. Second, I want to recognize and welcome John Cran, the Chief Executive Officer for the Michigan Electric Cooperative Association, who's with us for today's meeting. John was selected in March as MECA's new CEO, taking the baton from Craig Bohr, who had ably served the co-op community for a number of years in that role. John is no stranger to rural Michigan, having served since 2014 as National Legislative Counsel for the Farm Bureau, or for Michigan Farm Bureau, excuse me, where he led federal lobbying and advocacy efforts on behalf of the organization and acted as a lead spokesperson on legislative and regulatory issues. Prior to that, he served as public policy manager and legislative assistant to Representative Bill Huizenga and as a regional representative for Michigan Farm Bureau. John joined MECA immediately as the March ice storm did historic damage to a number of Michigan's co-op and investor-owned utilities alike. And I know his members and their member customers are still working through the aftermath. But even with those challenges, it's clear John has jumped into the role and from his first days has taken steps to further strengthen the collaboration and partnership between the MPSC and Michigan's community of electric cooperatives. And I'm happy to welcome John both to his new role and to today's commission meeting. And I'd be remiss if I didn't also recognize Dan Blair, a former director of the MPSC's electric division, who continues to be a good friend and liaison to MECA and its members. And then finally, earlier in the agenda, we adopted an order in case number U-21867, which includes details on a pair of public hearings to give Michiganders the chance to have their say on how certain factors should be included in how utilities in Michigan approach long-term planning. We had previously announced that the first of these hearings would take place on Tuesday, September 9th from 6 o'clock to 7:30 p.m. in Grand Rapids at the Eberhard Center, located at 301 West Fulton Street on the downtown campus of Grand Valley State University. And we're looking forward to being there in a couple of weeks. And as part of today's order, I'm happy to announce the second hearing will take place on Monday, October 27th, also from 6 o'clock to 7:30 p.m. And this one at the Auburn Hills campus of Oakland Community College, with the hearing being held in Building 7, Room 123. And don't worry, there will be signs. And that building is located at 2900 Featherstone Road. Both hearings will focus on what's formerly known as Integrated Resource Plan or IRP planning parameters. And those IRPs, again, are the long-range utility plans for modeling the future of energy demand. And the planning parameters are the factors that utilities must consider in building their long-term plans. So again, 2 meetings, one in Grand Rapids on September 9th and the other in Auburn Hills on October 27th. With that, I think I've run out of announcements. Do either of you have anything today? Okay. Well, that'll conclude today's meeting. The next regular commission meeting is scheduled for Thursday, September 11th, 2025 at 1:00 p.m. Actually, I do have one more that I somehow missed. I know that we're all feeling the pinch of rising costs and managing affordability challenges, including the cost of energy. It's been an unusually warm summer this summer, and that's put stress in including additional air conditioning load and the costs that are associated with that. And even at night, when it usually cools down in Michigan, we just haven't gotten that much relief. It's forced our air conditioners, for those of us that have them, to continue running, and those costs add up. So we are sensitive and mindful to that. We are not immune to those rising costs here at the commission, but want to stress that there are some tips for how to stay cool and manage ultimately the energy consumption that you have. And if you are struggling to pay your bills, that there are resources available through the commission and through our network of statewide grantees that offer assistance to utility customers across the state. So please do reach out if you're struggling. If you've got questions about your bill, that's what our customer assistance division is there to help with. And please let us know if we can be helpful in any way, as we all struggle with the affordability challenges and the cost of energy this summer. So finally, I've gotten through everything, and all I need is a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Peritick?
I move to adjourn today's meeting.
I second the motion.
We will now have a vote on the motion to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.